I did a demo. Now what? Remember we talked just a few minutes ago about the follow-up on the sign-up sheet. These people that have signed up on the sheet have entrusted you with some of their information, and they took time out of their day to actually fill your sign-up sheet out. It's very important that you follow up with them. In modern society, we have a number of distractions, from work to kids to school, and after a while, the SCA, is something that they thought about, 3 days ago, and it's gone. So it's very important that within at least 3 days that you check back with them. And if they don't get back with you right away, then check again in a week. Check in the following week. You're not want to be such a situation that you're pestering them, but on the other hand, you definitely want to keep touching base until they pretty much have answered you and said they're not interested. Now, those people that are interested and have signed up on the follow-up sheet and gotten in contact, it's very important that you put together a next level of information that you can provide for them. Have a second-tier packet of info. I have some on my website that I'll give at the end of this presentation, contact information for, but something that you could put together yourself, information about your local group, meetings, classes, the calendar of events. This is all information that you're wanting them to know how to find you, where you're at, and what kind of things that you're doing in your group. So it's very important that that second tier packet of information has something about contact information and where they can go. A list of first event must-haves. This is something I think that we overlook, especially those of us that have been in the SCA a long time. We want these people to go to their first event and feel good about their experience. We don't want them to show up in a t-shirt and jeans, not know that there is a feast, and not know that put a blanket down on the ground. It's very important that they're comfortable and they walk away from their first event with a good experience. So a list of must-haves is really important. Yet you also don't want to give them too much information. You don't want to overwhelm them. They don't need to know the entire back history of the Mongol dynasty or the Vikings or Varangian Guard. Right now, they just need to know about the SCA, some basics on how they can get around and feel comfortable walking around at an event and interacting with your group. In any organization that you want to be a part of, it's very important that that organization makes you feel comfortable, they come off professional and very competent. So you'll always want to have a welcome class scheduled after a demo. Again, be professional and competent. If someone comes up to you and says, hey, this is great, I'd really like to get involved, I think your demos are really fantastic, where do I go? The last thing in the world they want to hear is, oh, I don't know, we might get together here, but I'll have to give you your information, and what's your name? That is not going to give them the sense that anything that you do cares about them or sees them as value. So it's very important to be professional and say, yes, we actually have an SCA welcome group. It's going to be on this day at this time. Here's the flyer, here's directions. And that really makes them feel like you know what you're doing and they can maybe an organization they want to be a part of. Now your welcome class does not have to be a lecture. It could be a newcomer gathering. We actually have a group in my local group that does a newcomer feast, which I think is fantastic. Social function, in and out of garb. The last thing in the world that you do not want this to be is your business meeting. Now, I'm sure some of you out there really enjoy your business meetings, but your average person, that's not the side of the SCA that's going to bring them in and get them really excited. So you really want to have a gathering that actually focuses on them as people and new people to the SCA. I brought in new members and now I'm done. I can't tell you how many people I've talked with that said, hey, I did a demo, the people showed up, that's it, my responsibility's over. That's not true. Your work has just begun. You need to put together a series of newcomer classes. This is very important when it comes to retaining these new members. Some basic heraldry, things on persona, costuming. Have a class on how to build a basic T-tunic. A number of years ago we used to have something called the Known World Handbook. You hardly see those anymore with the internet, but that used to be one of the first things that we would hand a new person and show them how to do a basic T-tunic, what to bring to an event. Combat 101. Even for those people that don't want to necessarily get into rapier or heavy combat, explaining what combat is a lot more enjoyable when they're trying to watch. Protocol and precedence. Again, empowering your new people to feel comfortable, that they're not saying the wrong thing to the wrong person, and they've spoken, called them the wrong thing. And this really is an important thing to get across early on in their SCA career. SCA History 101. A lot of people actually like to know where our organization came from, what it's all about. And history of your local group. Now, let me put a side disclaimer on this that you want positive stories only. I'm sure all of you out there have stories of skeletons in the closet about how your group was and this person and that person who did what to what. This is not the appropriate time to be talking about that. And as we discussed before, a basic newcomer class on what to bring to an event, what their expectations are. Mentoring programs. I do not see enough mentoring programs in any group that I've been involved in. Mentoring is very important. You know, after you hold your SCA 101 class that kind of talks about the SCA and the different things that they can do, you should have a question and answer session about interests. See if they're interested in combat, archery, ANS, or even being an officer. This, I'd like to point out, I've seen time and time again, the people that want to be officers suddenly seem like they're threatening the group. That's not the case at all. This just may be how some people want to serve. If you have all your officer positions filled, get some deputies. What's wrong with 4 deputies? It gives somebody something that they feel like they can be a part of. SCA members that are good with new people should be the ones mentoring these people. Just like the people at your demos, you don't want someone that's threatening, someone that's not a good speaker. You also don't want to have anybody trying to shadow or mentor these people that aren't good with working with people that are new to the society. One of the groups I've been involved with over the years actually had a newcomer household. This does a couple things. One, it actually lets people feel like they belong. So much of our attrition actually comes from people getting into the society and feel like they've been ignored, feel like they're not a part, feel like that they don't belong. And setting up a newcomer household can really give a sense of belonging and feel like they're a part of the group. It does something else as well. I've heard a lot of complaints throughout the kingdom about households that actually come in and start poaching new people right out of the demo. And that's never a good thing. These people are coming to a society and a new organization and they don't know what their interests are, and they may be interested in this, interested in that. They really need some time to kind of find themselves and find where they're at. A newcomer household actually provides a barrier, a protective barrier, that lets those people have some place to be and that they're looked after by a responsible person. Create the duties that people can attend at events with positive results. Generally, your first time when you go to an event, you're not really ready to jump in with all 4 feet. But some people are, or some people actually may be interested in coming in after a couple events. Create something that actually has some type of merit of value that lets them actually come and participate. It doesn't have to be a big job. It could be something small, but at least makes them feel good. Now let's talk about your gold key. Actually, recently I was told that the medieval word for that would be a draper. But the gold key is supposed to help have people set up so that when they come to an event, they actually have something to wear. Does your gold key support your recruiting needs? We've kind of gone through this entire process, and we're kind of at the end where you've got people all the way to the event. You need to make sure that you have the right sizes for people when they come to the event, that the tunics aren't, been donated 10 years ago and they've got holes and tears and things in them. These people are showing up, they want to feel a part, they want to wear something nice, they don't want to be embarrassed. So make sure that your gold key is up to speed. Now just some plain tunics and also feast gear. If you have an event that has a lot of feasts or your group that has a lot of feasts, then you want to make sure that you're not just handing them paper plates. That kind of ruins the whole ambiance. Go down Goodwill, wherever you need to, and get some basic feast gear to help these people get started. So when they go, they actually feel a part.